These latest headlines from ABC15 are sponsored by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorneys. One call, that's all.
I'm Faye Fredericks with your top stories from ABC15 Arizona. Federal government cuts include staff working on programs for some of the nation's most vulnerable. Agencies serving tribal communities are among those seeing widespread layoffs. Leaders on the Navajo Nation are sounding the alarm over the cuts, which will impact the Bureau of Indian Affairs and the Bureau of Indian Education. The Indian Health Service had also faced cuts, but those have since been rescinded by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy.
It has been a very emotional and frustrating moment for many of our federal employees who are Navajo. So we've been trying to mitigate a lot of that communication, reassuring that as tribal leadership, we're doing the best that we can to communicate with the White House.
Navajo leaders not ruling out legal action at this point, as Curley says they've been educating federal employees about their treaty commitments to the tribes. Reaction from Governor Katie Hobbs after the state legislature killed a bill to extend funding for Arizona's Division of Developmental Disabilities. State DES program benefits Arizona children with autism, Down syndrome, and other disabilities. Hobbs accuses extremists in the legislature of working to slash a full quarter of the program's budget, while the state's Universal ESA program has seen cost overruns of nearly $400 million. Hobbs going on to call this week's vote a moral failure. Checking top headlines around Arizona now, starting with a deadly Phoenix shooting. Police tell us a man has died after being shot at a gas station early this morning near 27th Avenue in Thomas. Officers have not yet identified the victim, but a statement from AWP Safety says he did work for them. The investigation is ongoing. Life in prison. Judge sentencing Clinton Robert Hurley. Hurley admitted to killing MCSO deputy Juan Miguel Ruiz back in October of 2021. ABC 15 in court today. Hear from Ruiz's family ahead at 5. And several Valley agencies are celebrating a major drug bust. Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays says Operation Double Down resulted in 20 arrests and more than 1.7 million fentanyl pills off the streets over the course of the 7-month investigation. Growing concern across the alcohol industry as the extended deadline for tariffs against Canada and Mexico closes in. If those tariffs go into effect, could affect the cost of some of the nation's most popular spirits, especially tequila. In 2023 alone, the U.S. imported $4.5 billion worth of the spirit.
Realmente sí va a ser un impacto fuerte porque en el anaquel tú compites con otras bebidas premium como coñacs, como whiskies, algunos vodkas muy buenos que hay. Y entonces, si todos estos provienen de algún país en donde no les están imponiendo los aranceles, pues automáticamente nuestro producto se convierte en este caso, el ejemplo que es un 25% más caro.
Jobs in Mexico and the U.S. that rely on the billion-dollar tequila industry could also be cut. Economists also worry that the tariffs could trigger a recession in Mexico and a trade war across the continent. Top of those effects, prices for everyday consumers are expected to surge. 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico is expected to generate more than $100 billion of U.S. federal revenue, according to an analysis by the Tax Policy Center. Major traffic alert. If you're traveling between the Valley and the High Country, part of I-17 is going to be shut down this weekend. So here's what you need to know. Northbound 17 from Happy Valley Road to the 303 will close tonight at 10 and reopen Monday morning. To get around, exit at Happy Valley, take Lake Pleasant Parkway to the 303 and then connect back on to the 17. This is just one of several highway closures around the Valley. Check abc15.com/traffic to help plan your weekend.
Tracking your forecast, it's going to be a warm weekend here in the Valley. Temperatures in the 80s both Saturday and Sunday afternoon. Air quality will be moderate. That UV index, though, only giving us about 45 minutes to be outside in the middle of the day before the sunburn sets in. High pressure really warming things up as we head into next week as well. In fact, we could be seeing our first 90s of the year as early as Wednesday. 91 in the forecast. That would be about a month sooner than average to see our first 90-degree temperatures. Not the earliest, though. That was back in 2016 when we hit the 90s on February 17th. That 91 might also be a record for us. In fact, as we look at the next 7 days here, 91 is the record for that day, so we might tie it. Thursday, the record's 92. Our forecast within a couple of degrees of that. And then Friday could be another record tire at 89 as we wrap up next week.